Smash Up is one of my favorite games, and today we're talking about 10 of my favorite cards in the game, the action cards. Yes, there's minion cards, and I do like my minion cards. In fact, I'm doing a top 10 of those. You can check that out. But this is about the action cards. So you can only play one action per turn. Well, unless you're the Wizards. They have cards that let you play more. But the actions, they don't always, usually you're sitting there going, I want to play a minion. Boom, and see what happens. But actions can do some really cool effects over the course of the game and can actually win you the game. Let me show you my favorite 10. Alright, this first action here is just a very simple one, but it works really well, especially in the robots. Choose a base and draw a card for each of your minions there. You have a lot of minions at one base, boom, you draw that many cards. The more cards in your hand, the more damage you can do. These guys mix well with the Innsmouth deck, with the zombies, with anyone where you can get a lot of minions out. This one is one of the most annoying cards in the game to your opponents. Return a minion to its owner's hand. I can't tell you how often that irritates people. Maybe that person can't be destroyed. Maybe they have some kind, they're super powerful or whatever, but you can still put them back in their owner's hand. If they have actions played on them, so much the better. Speaking of not being destroyed, I like that. This shell game here where you put on a minion and that minion can't be destroyed. Just a good thing. I can put it on all sorts of creatures. A creature that gives me a special talent that I can use every turn. I get the shell on them. They are basically immune to being destroyed. Very useful card. Then we have from the monsters, Blitzed. This one's an interesting one because you can remove any number of +1 power counters from your minions and then destroy a minion with power less than or equal to the number of counters removed. The monster deck is putting out a lot of minions. There's minions going out right and left in the monster deck all over the place, so you can just remove those. And it doesn't have to be from one minion, it can be from any group of minions to kill somebody, which can be very critically important at different points in the game. Wormhole is a great one that the time travelers have, where you can play and basically all your minions there go back in your deck instead of putting them in a discard pile. You have a big character, you have your dinosaur or whatever, your big giant character. He takes out a base, shuffle him back in the deck, you're going to get him again. Use them with the aliens that give you a +1 point, score with them, put them back in your deck. The Wormhole is one of those ones that your opponent dislikes. It doesn't do any immediate annoyance, but now they sit there thinking, we're going to see all these guys again. This card I like a lot, even though it's very difficult to play. If you have 2 or fewer cards in your hand, gain a victory point. Now, the ghosts are all about getting rid of cards in your hand, which goes counter to, like, say, that first card we saw with the robots. You should never play a ghost robot deck. It's a terrible combo. But if you can pull that off, this is just a neat combo. I have 2 or fewer cards, I get a victory point. I like it. Furthering the cause, another way to get victory points here from one of the Cthulhu decks, where you can play this on a base and at the end of every turn, if someone else's minions destroyed there, gain a victory point. Mix this with a ninja deck and kill as many minions as you can, and you get a victory point. If 2 people are fighting on a base, play it there. You don't have to be involved. Now they'll sit there and go, oh, we don't want to fight anymore. Or you can have it on the base where you're controlling it. Put it there. And people, if they come in, they're going to wonder, are you going to fight back? It's more of a psychological card than anything else. Yeah, but why not? Now I have these 2 cards I'm putting together as my next one here. We Are the Champions and a kind of magic. Both of these from the ants, the giant ants. And they work together really well. For example, here it says transfer any or all of your +1 power counters amongst your minions. So you can move all your power counters around. And then here, after this base scores, transfer any or all +1 power counters from one of your minions here to another minion. So if you play these right, you put this one on the base first, and then next turn, you take all your power counters off and stick them on one guy and score. Destroy that base. Okay, boom. Then immediately take those power counters off and move them to somebody else to get another base. It's a great combo. Then number 2, we're at Blossom. Play up to 3 extra minions that all have the same name. This works well with a lot of decks. And when you get this in your hand, of course, it always seems like I get it, and then I have only 2 minions that have the same name. But if you can get 3 and display them, just like that, it's something that your opponents won't expect, a great card. And my favorite card, very simple card, choose a base, move any number of your minions to it. This is from the stupid new little My Little Ponies expansion, or what they called mythical horses. Anyhow, but it's a great action card. Pick one base and just move everyone to it. Just take a base over. This is like a guaranteed, I'm going to capture a base. I like it, and it's my favorite action card. This was kind of a tough list to do because there's a lot of actions that do some very generic things. Play 2 cards, play an extra minion. And I like all those, but I want to pick the ones that are a little bit more flashy, did a little bit more cool effects. Ones that after you play them, someone goes, I hate that card. Then I like it. If I can make someone else hate the card I just played. Anyhow, action cards are great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out the top 10 minions. What are your favorite action cards? Tell me in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.